right. Like what's the meaning of life? Like what's the meaning of life? Tell me, are you ready to pay that price? Late nights, early morning sacrifice. They tried to lock me in the cage and that ain't right. Scheming cause I won't eat in at night. Everywhere they go, they take they pole, I'ma keep my pipe. Had to show them boys that I won't no hoe, had to earn my stripes. Gotta pull my heart on songs I'm oozing pain for life. This shit run through my veins, hope it stay like this for life.
Okay, so the sun is in my eyes. I can't see too much, but that's okay because I got my notes. So today I want to talk about energy boundaries. If you have not been watching the rest of the series for self-concepts, go to my channel and check out the videos on mental diet, emotional intelligence, affirmations, detachment, and self-concept. There's just a whole bunch of vlogs or videos in that section that talk about, that just coincide with what we're talking about today, which goes into energy boundaries. Which goes into energy boundaries. Yeah, this place is funny. Which goes into energy boundaries. So, energy boundaries, this is actually a very beautiful subject. So first of all, what are energy boundaries? What are energy boundaries? Energy boundaries are, I mean, if you want to think of it like in a physical sense, it's like a fence. It's a boundary that keeps something out, but it's going to be an energetic boundary. So it's going to be something that is not constructed or that you can't perceive through your five senses, something from the ether, something that's cosmic, something that's within you, something that you can't see, taste, touch, hear, or smell. These are mental boundaries and emotional boundaries that are going to keep things away from you physically. So if you have boundaries energetically, then you are keeping a lot of things that you don't want away from you, and you're keeping things that you do want. You're magnetizing those things to you. Another way of saying this is like, dang, my nose is dry. Another way of saying this is like setting the standard for what you will and will not take, and not going any lower than that. So this is like basically being better than. And so you're protecting yourself because you have boundaries energetically. Abraham Hicks talks about, she says, if you can see the aerial views of your life, where she said there could be a pillager in the village, someone just trying to get to you. Think of what was that game, Super Munchers, or what is that fucking game, you guys, the old school game, Pac-Man, where you're just moving and it's following you but it can't find you, basically. So you have energy boundaries that keep you away from things. So if something bad were to happen, you weren't there, or you showed up early, or you showed up late, or you for some reason weren't in that area. Hey, what's up, everybody? I am Shayla Jade. This is Chocolatecake101. So this is just a continuance from the video that I was doing yesterday with my beautiful Bruce Lee in the background. Y'all know I love me some power. I love power. So I want to continue that video. I apologize that I'm not still in front of him. I had to cut it, you guys. I had an audience and the sun was shining on me. Why are you shining so hard? Shining hard on me. I had to let it go. So here we are. This is a continuous from yesterday with my topic on emotional boundaries. And I tried to record this video at least 3 times yesterday. And I kept getting distracted. People kept coming to talk to me, kept doing things. I mean, I would get a phone call, and then my sister would be here. And then, I mean, all these, it was weird. And I realized today why, because I had a few occurrences that happened this morning that are so on point. I don't know. Okay, so first of all, energy boundaries. I was, thank you for watching. Please be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, screenshot, screen record, hashtag, email, argue, and build off of these beautiful conversations. I say it like I'm being funny, but my love really is your love, you guys, so feel free. I don't do no bullshit, but if you really do have questions and you really want to try to understand what the hell I'm talking about, I am free for real conversations. All right. I felt like this was vulnerable because when someone comes at me incorrectly, I don't give no life to that bitch. Okay? I really hold myself at a standard, energy boundaries. So if you don't come at me correct, I don't respond to you. But I'm going to do that because being harassed by my boyfriend's ex-girlfriend for almost a whole year now has really, and I've learned so much, and then I got to play with so much. So I try not to bring her up because, and I told my boyfriend and I talked about this. I was working with energy boundaries when I realized, and then so I started playing with her energetically to see if she was going to respond in the 3D, and she does. So I got the power. I got the power. All right, so yes, I know. So energy boundaries, this shit works, and like I said, I've been testing it on this chick, and this shit fucking works. Hey girl. So it's two things that she has inspired me to talk about. One is energy boundaries, and two, it's how to benefit spiritually and through your evolution off of your trolls, your haters, demons, whatever you want to call them. So those are two things we're going to talk about. Not all today, because I like to keep my shit under 20 minutes if I can, until further notice. But whatever. All right, so let's get into it, you guys. What is an energy boundary? So first of all, I like to understand what is energy, and then what are boundaries, and then what an energy boundary is. And like I said, sometimes it's hard having these conversations because I want to get right into it, but so many people don't even understand on a spiritual level what the hell I'm talking about, or they've been misled on a spiritual level. So I have to first go into what I'm talking about all the things specifically before I can get into the whole pie. Energy is anything that you cannot interpret through your five senses, anything that you can and cannot interpret through your five senses. So people like to label things that they can see, taste, touch, hear, and smell. If I didn't, you know what the hell I mean, if I missed one. And when you can interpret something through those senses, you give it a label and you call it real. However, we all know that there are things going around here that you cannot interpret through your senses. We talked about it yesterday. Was it yesterday? We talked about it the other day. The internet, the World Wide Web. You cannot see the internet, but you believe it's real. See what I'm saying? You know it's real, but you can't see it. You can see a website, but you cannot see the internet. And I told you that is a connection, a web of your mind and thought forms all working together in a web, in a system. That is what the World Wide Web is. Okay, great. So we get that. Being that there are things and energies that communicate to you and are all around you without you being able to interpret them through one of your brains, your brain or your gut brain, you know that people and you have interactions with people, places, things, and experiences before you have interactions with them in the physical. Okay? It's literally like walking into the room and knowing two people are fighting because why? The tension was so thick you could cut it with a knife. Or you are hanging out with two people and you can tell that they're in love with each other because you can feel it. You can feel the energy, the thought forms, the energy of love and lust and sex is all around you, and you can be like, ooh, y'all like each other. All right, so that's energy. Now, the same way people build physical boundaries like a fence or a wall or they carry weapons on them. The same way people have those type of boundaries, you can have an energy boundary. An energy boundary would make it so that nothing can harm you physically. So before it could even get to you physically, you X that shit out. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I was going to give an example, but I'm going to wait because I want to explain some more things. So first people will say, well, how do I even know how to begin to do this? Well, when you talk about energy and experiences and how I'm going to have an interaction with this experience, whether it be a person, a place, or a thing, or whatever, you look at what vibe you're on, what vibration you're on. So they talk about the frequencies. All that is explained to you, this, thank you, David R. Hawkins, I'm a big fan, through your emotions. People ask all day, can you guys see this? People ask all day, what are your emotions for? Your emotions are energies to let you know where you're vibing at. That's one thing they're used for. I should do another build on what emotions are. But I did talk about that in the emotional intelligence video. So if you haven't watched that video, or the mental diet video, or the video about self-concept or the law of assumption, I've done so many videos and I don't even know what I posted, then check out my self-concept series, or check out the other videos in my vlog, because a lot of these are interconnected, and one will help you to understand another one, because this is Chocolate Cake 101, where we're taking all the ingredients and we're putting that shit together to make a big ass chocolate cake. All right, so yes, I was saying you look at the frequencies, and that's where you can tell you're vibing. What that means is, you know, if you walk up to this dude with an attitude, anger, grief, and a low energy, you're gonna get that shit back. Whether he's mean to you or whether the experience is going to be mean. You cannot step outside the energy that you're in unless you consciously decide to do so. That's for another day, though. I can build off that. Anyways, so those are your frequencies. When you start to control your emotions and when you start to use energy boundaries, you're going to be vibing at a higher place. Think about a queen who doesn't go and talk to the peasant, not because she thinks she's better than him, but because she carries herself in a different way, so they don't even interact. Or think of a millionaire or a billionaire who you will never see, and if you do see him, you're not going to recognize him, because he carries himself completely in a different space. You're not going to see him in the same room as you see someone who's homeless. He carries himself in a whole different world. Same world, different frequency. Might as well be a different world. See what I'm saying? Okay, so when you start to do things to protect your energy, you are keeping yourself at a higher caliber, and anything lower than that bullshit, that nonsense that you don't want, cannot exist. And if it does try to exist in your reality and you don't meet it at the same bullshit frequency, then it has to go away. I talked about that when I was talking about karma, when I was talking about the scales. You guys know when you go past like a lawyer office or some judicial branch, you see the scales of Mayat? Well, that's talking about karma. Energy has to match energy for those people to dictate how it plays out. If the energy doesn't match, if you come to me with in good spirits and I'm in the dump, we're not going to meet each other on the same level. Somebody got to come up or somebody has to come down, or we can't exist. That is a whole nother build as well. But my point is, you keep yourself on a higher frequency, you're going to be protected. This is where you're either protecting yourself or you're protected. But regardless, you're protected. But you have to know that this is what you're doing. If you don't know and you're doubting and fear and all that shit, then you're bringing in opportunities for bad shit to happen. This whole universe is ran around claiming what you want and knowing that you have it. That's why Jesus said it is your faith that makes you whole, because you have to know what you're doing to. God says you tell me. All right, that's for a whole nother build. Okay, let me finish this. We're 10 minutes in. All right, so I was talking about what are energy boundaries. Damn, that was just the first one. Energy boundaries are energetic things to protect you so that you can have peace, so that you don't have to experience it on a 3D experience. And talking about, if you look at the aerial views of your life, trouble could come looking for you. But because you're in alignment, because you're on a higher frequency, it keeps missing you. I was saying this about my nephew. You either come late to the party, or you'll come early and leave before the bullshit, or you won't be in the same room as the bullshit. I helped somebody from what I didn't know at the time when I was helping them. They're about to get their house shot up the next day. I didn't know, they didn't know. All I knew was I couldn't go to bed without lighting a candle, a protection candle, and doing this little ritual. This was a few years ago. The next day, I left. And the dude that I was dating at the time, we were supposed to be there for days. But what we were doing was we were leaving to go help my sister move, and then we were going back. And this was like a 3-hour travel. The dude I was dating at the time couldn't understand for the life of fucking him why we were leaving. Why can't we help her another day? Why? We're on vacation. Why do I have to leave? But for some reason, and it didn't make sense. I didn't understand it either. But for some reason, I knew we had to go help her, and we had to go help her now. While we were gone, the house got shot up. So even though I was able to be a part of it and help or whatever, do my little protection shit, I still couldn't be a part of that experience because I vibrated on a higher frequency. So I had to leave so it could happen, and then we came back literally a few hours after it happened. Yes, you're welcome. Yes, I did save your life, everybody. I saved all your lives. You're welcome. Anyways, stick with me. Anyways, so that is an energy boundary. When you are doing something energetically or etherically, cosmically, so that you don't have to be a part of the experience, part of the experience that you don't want to be in the 3D. This also works the opposite way. There are things that you can do energetically wise so that you can have wonderful experiences. But, we talk about both of these things. All right. Now, I have to talk about energy vampires and recycled energy. So a lot of people are asking, why would somebody want to make you feel bad? Why would somebody want to come down on you? You guys all know that low energy is still energy. There are beings, because you live in a recycled universe, okay? This universe, they call it, in the human form, you call it recycle. But in the reality, everything is and everything has to use itself. There's no such thing as a trash can. The earth doesn't have a planet of trash. There is no such thing as waste. Even your feces is used as fertilizer, your pee as an antiseptic. Your blood can be used in so many different things. Even period blood has been known to be studied, to be used in medicines. Yes, I said it. It is the truth. So nothing's recycled. This is where we come from, like vultures or maggots or possums, where they eat the things that nobody else wants to eat because it's recycled life. They are recycling energy. This is your Thanos or your Thantos energy, your destroyer energy, your tower. Things have to be destroyed so it can come up again. Now, Hollywood and the occult and the people in ill-dignified situations, they use this interchangeably because there is a difference between a destroyer and someone who recycles old energy. They want you to think that someone who is recycling old energy is doing it in the name of evil. And that's where these superheroes and these villains in the movie they're saying something that sounds so solid, but then it's like, that's evil. They're doing it to manipulate you and to confuse you. And I am going to do a build on Thor. So we will talk about that because I want y'all to understand the manipulation, but the greatness in a lot of these villain, victim, hero movies. Anyways, so because you live in a biodome that recycles energy, every type of energy can be used as fuel. They call this toxic, or people who are addicted to drama, or people who are addicted to lack. Or you know how like you'll do an ancestor, what's it called? A table for your ancestors, and you'll put fried chicken and a cigarette for a ghost on there. Because they are getting some type of energy from what you're doing. Even if you don't understand it in a human form, everything is energy and everything can be used and recycled. Okay, lesson understood. So when it comes to an energy vampire, I'm someone like remember y'all remember True Blood and the fairies and all that? Okay, I can take your energy and feed off of it. And if I can make you feel bad, because I'm 16 minutes into it and I don't have time to talk to you about how there is no source of evil. But so if a source of evil, that's a whole nother build. If I can make you feel bad, then I have elevated my energy. Now I feel better. That's what the whole energy vampires is. Then now this goes into the whole free will information. Because if you have free will, if we have free will, Why are we victims? Why do we choose to be hurt? Because everything is mental and everything is energy. And in our Western culture, you are not taught to use your mind correctly, and you are not taught shit about energy. Therefore, it leaves you open to being a victim. Therefore, you're giving up your free will. This is what religion is called, giving up your free will. There's this movie called Save the Last Dragon. It's a 1980s movie about these little black kids, one specifically, but these little black kids who were really big into martial arts and has a lot of course pop culture and power and all this stuff in it. But the main character, Bruce Leroy, was a huge fan of Bruce Lee. And he did all these things to protect his boundaries. He was a disciplined little kid. He was into karate. He learned the knowledge. He was learning the skill. He had a sensei. He knew that he didn't know everything, but he was very disciplined and he wanted to understand. Because he vibrated on a higher frequency with his discipline, with everything in the 3D. But he did not protect himself with his energy. He had adversaries who understood that he was special and wanted to fuck with him because he didn't know who he was, because he didn't protect his energy, but his boundaries. He didn't have any boundaries. Oh, she's so cute. He didn't have any energy boundaries, so he didn't know who he was. So he was doing everything from a 3D perspective and not protecting himself etherically. So you had, what was the guy's name coming in? Y'all, come on now, watch the movie. I forgot the guy's name. T will be able to tell me. Anyways, the whole thing was Bruce Leroy was on a journey of mastery when it came to martial arts. And everybody in the area wanted to be the master. That's his name. Show enough. So he was basically trying to tell everybody that he was the master, and he was coming in from this fake, fraudulent energy, which is very prevalent in our society today, okay? T said, you ladies, y'all got fake lashes, fake hair, fake bodies, fake boobs, fake ass, BBLs. You got fake everything. Your attitude's fake, your money's fake, and you got the nerve to want a real nigga. Y'all got fake everything and then want a real man, he said. So Shonuff was fake. He was fake confident. He was a fake master. And because he was fake, anything that threatened him, he had to take out. Kind of like this chick who thought I took her man, even though I didn't even know him when y'all broke up, so he didn't want you in the first place. And now because I come in, she's trying to intimidate me because I'm intimidating to her. Okay? Understand what this is. So he didn't know who he was, Bruce Leroy. And so the guys, they're doing all these things, antagonizing him. And at the end, the dude is whipping his ass. And then he realizes that he is the master. And the only reason why he didn't know he was the master before is because he didn't know he was the master before. He doubted himself. He looked around for everything outside of himself to tell him who he was instead of claiming his stake. It wasn't until he knew he was the master that he started glowing. Y'all know? Come on now. If you don't know who I'm talking about, just unfollow me. Because y'all, these kids, you want to know, you know everything, you swear to God, you know everything about pop culture, and you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. Okay, let's look at another movie, The Matrix. Neo did not know that he was the one. He was not the one until he knew he was the one. What I'm trying to say, y'all, stake your fucking claim and be that. And then protect your energy. But you have to understand who you are. And you got to stop letting everybody outside you tell who you are. This is turning into a whole nother message. There is a gentleman that just wrote on my damn Instagram today talking about, I am a sinner. And because I know I'm a sinner, I can grow now. And I'm just thankful that the gods don't strike me down. I said, then be that sinner. because you let them tell you that you own shit, and now you're subjected to how they feel about you. A lot of the problem is a lot of you don't know who you are. You doubt everything about yourself, and you let everyone outside of you tell you who you are. So you already don't come in protecting your energy anyway. You come in with weird ass energy, stagnant energy, doubtful energy, inconsistent energy, insecure energy. People can't fuck with you if you haven't fucked with yourself first. Yeah. People can't fuck with you if you know who you are. They just can't. So be that. Be that. I am a sinner. Hey, what did he say? He said, I am a sinner, and I am grateful that the gods haven't struck me down. Who told you that? Who told you you are a sinner? Who told you that you should be grateful that the gods don't come up in here and strike you down? Who told you that? That shit don't sound like gaslighting and manipulation to you? Someone came and told you that you won't shit, and therefore you put yourself in an ain't shit box. You labeled yourself. First of all, I don't even want to talk about sinning and sign and time and Saturn. We're not going to go for that because y'all, that would go so far over everybody's head. Let's just first talk about sin. It's the semantics of the word sin, because what religion says sin is and what multiple different ancient teachings say are two different things. A lot has changed before Christ and after death. I'll just say that. But the term sin is different depending on what theology or whatever your beliefs in the first place. But even still after that, you can be so many things. You could be a mother. I'm a bitch. I'm a lover. Why would you label yourself someone? I want to hit that shit on so many points. First of all, why would you label yourself as a sinner? You can just as easily label yourself as somebody, as an amazing person. Why would somebody who created you and loved you tell you that you're someone who does something wrong all day? That's gaslighting. Then, what is good and bad? A lot of times, there's no such thing as good and bad. It's what's good for me now and what's not good for me now. Because a lot of the things that you label as bad, they're not bad in the first place. They're just not a good idea for where you are at that point in your life. It's very subjective. Sex isn't bad. It just depends on how you use it. See what I'm saying? Money isn't bad. It depends on how you use it. So it's not the noun, the object is bad or whatever is bad. It's the experience and your intention behind it. So you can't say anything's good or bad in the first place. See how the fucking sun changed that? You went, where you shine? Where you at shining now? You were shining a lot yesterday. Me and the sun have a great relationship. Yeah, don't worry about it. My point is to label yourself as something bad, and then to say that that's what I'm just gonna do all day. You were told it lets you off the hook, but it also puts you in a box. And then what is perfect? We don't have time for that, y'all. We 26 minutes in. I'm Shayla Jade. This is Chocolatecake101. I'm not even sure if this is part one. This is part one of this message, because this message is getting thicker and thicker. Every time I say something, I gotta explain the details of that. And that just is like, it astutes to. That just proves how convoluted, confused, and fucked up things are around here. And by the way, that is why there's so much chaos going on. Because right now the world is shifting. But before the world can shift, you have to see that the way things weren't that great in the first place. I'm Shayla J. This is Chocolatecake101. Thank you for your time and your attention. We will talk about this more later. Have a good day. Peace to you.